Ever feel like you're working in the middle of a hurricane? You know, papers swirling around and emails are bombarding you from every direction, and everyone needs a piece of your time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're diving into today. It's all about maximizing your productivity and accountability at work.
Right.
And we're going to be looking at this from the perspective of this interesting excerpt we found all about workplace duty. Have you had a chance to look at that?
I really have. It's fascinating how this excerpt cuts through all the noise.
Yeah.
You know, it really zeroes in on this really simple idea. Just focus on your own duties.
Oh, wow.
And it even compares duty to like a shield.
Oh, interesting.
I thought that was such a powerful image.
A shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so unpack that for me. What does it mean to use duty as a shield at work?
Well, it's all about recognizing that your primary responsibility is to fulfill your obligations
Okay.
and not to get caught up in what everyone else is doing around you. You know, it's not about comparing yourself to your colleagues or getting sidetracked by their demands. The excerpt argues that that actually weakens your ability to perform your own duties effectively.
Okay, so it's almost like the excerpt is saying stay in your lane,
Exactly.
but fortify that lane and make it awesome.
Exactly. Right.
But isn't there a risk of becoming too isolated
Oh, yeah, for sure.
if we're only focusing on our own tasks?
Yeah.
How does the excerpt balance individual focus with, the need for teamwork?
Well, that's a great question. The excerpt does acknowledge that collaboration is really important,
Okay.
but it stresses that it's super important to first master your own domain.
Mm-hmm.
So it argues that by focusing on your individual duty, you actually become more valuable to the team as a whole.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You're bringing your A game to the table.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see how that works. When you're confident in your own work, you're more likely to contribute meaningfully to the team. Now, the excerpt also touches on the idea of accountability. And I'm curious, how does the excerpt connect the idea of duty to personal accountability?
Well, the excerpt highlights this really interesting link between focusing on your duties and developing something called an internal locus of control.
Okay.
Now, this basically means that you take ownership of your actions and outcomes,
Okay.
rather than blaming external circumstances or other people.
So instead of pointing fingers, you're focused on what you can control.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
That resonates with me because I remember a time when I was working on this big project and I was totally consumed with what my colleagues were doing. I don't know why. I was constantly comparing my progress to theirs,
Yeah,
and it ended up stressing me out
of course.
and hindering my own work.
Absolutely. That's a perfect example of how losing sight of your own duty can just completely derail your productivity and also your peace of mind.
Wow.
Yeah, and the excerpt actually suggests some really practical ways to kind of strengthen that duty shield.
Okay.
For example, it recommends creating a daily ritual of reviewing your primary responsibilities, almost like a warrior preparing for battle.
I love that. A ritual to ground yourself in your duty. That's a really good way to put it. So are there any other practical tips that the excerpt offers?
Absolutely. It really emphasizes the importance of time blocking and prioritizing tasks
Okay.
based on their direct connection to your core responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And the excerpt even suggests visualizing those tasks as building blocks in the foundation of your duty.
So it's not just about ignoring distractions. It's about actively building a structure
Yeah.
that supports your focus on duty.
Exactly.
That sounds empowering.
It is empowering.
Yeah.
When you focus on what you can control and commit to fulfilling your responsibilities, you naturally feel a sense of ownership and pride in your work. And that's where true accountability comes from.
Yeah.
It's not about someone looking over your shoulder all the time.
Right.
It's about holding yourself to a higher standard because you're intrinsically invested in the outcome.
This deep dive has really shifted my perspective on productivity.
Oh, good.
It's not just about getting things done, you
Yeah.
know. It's about approaching work with a sense of duty and purpose.
Exactly. And here's a final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
How can you apply this principle of focusing on your duties, not only to your work life, but also to your personal goals
Right.
and your relationships? It's about recognizing where your true responsibilities lie and committing to fulfilling them with excellence.
So much to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you walk away with some valuable insights and a renewed sense of purpose.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.